one because I think
Oh.
you all want to know about marketing. So we've got lots and lots of people signed up and coming. If I can ask all of you as well, please, that if you could just mute yourselves, your microphone, if you're not already muted, because it will make it easier for Lucy and I to deliver today's session. Let's see, we've got lots from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Ras Al Khaimah. Oh, lucky Ivana is in Croatia. Bet beautiful in Croatia this time of year. Where else do we have? Mauritius. Oh, hey, Phil, you're making us all so jealous, lucky lady. We've got Jordan, lots of Dubai. Another person in Mauritius. What's with people in Mauritius today? Dubai, Jordan. So beautiful to see that we're having people so excited about this that you're joining us from all over the world. We've got a few people from Egypt as well. Sharjah with some rockets next to it. Amazing. Okay, let's wait till we hit the magic 100 number. I'm sure we're going to be closer to 200 in a minute, but let's hit 100 and then we'll kick off and my colleague Maya will let everybody in as they come in. So, yes. Oh, for some reason, all of the people coming in have stopped for a second. Okay, Maya, I think I'm going to kick off with 97 people, and I'm sure we'll hit over 100 in a second. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jen Blandos from UN Women, and today we are talking about marketing for SMEs. And marketing for SMEs, I think, is probably one of the biggest challenges that I find that small businesses face. Because you've been spending all of this time working on perfecting your product or your service, getting that perfect, and then the next part of it is getting people to buy your product or service, which can be very, very challenging. And so when we were speaking about this and about all of the different tools and tactics for marketing and what you need to think about, we reached out to Lucy Bradley, who is from Plug, who is absolutely one of the experts in the marketing area, and she's going to share her insights with you today. But before we kick that off, Lucy, if we can just go to the next slide. As you all know, we love it and we love you if you tag us. You can go to the next slide as well. I think everybody knows me as well. Oh, do we not have our social media tags? For some reason that's missed off.
They are at the end.
Oh, how did that happen? Okay, always fun when we're doing that. Lucy, would you mind unsharing your screen for a second, pulling up the social media tags just so we can have that? I don't know what happened there, but I was just going to say, and I think probably a lot of you already know how to find us on social media, but we love it and we would love it today if you would go and share with us. Share your experience from today. You can take screenshots. You can put us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media channels you use. We would love for you to tag us and put all of that up there as well. If Lucy can't find it, don't worry about it. It's fine. I think you know how to find us by now on social media because we've been doing this for over a year. So that's not a problem. Lucy, don't worry about it. Let's just bang it up.
Okay.
Let's just bring up the presentation. So we're going to go through the marketing presentation. We've allocated 90 minutes for today's masterclass. And then what we will be doing is taking any questions. If you do have any questions, if you could please pop it in the chat box. I'm going to interrupt Lucy consistently throughout the presentation. So I'll be your I'll be your little person to ask all of your questions. So if you do have any questions related to what Lucy's covering, I'll ask her the questions. And if there is anything that she's not able to answer, Lucy will be able to support you afterwards in answering those questions. Now, I know for whatever reason, we always get asked this, and I hope that all of you know the answer by now. Yes, the session is being recorded. Yes, it's going to be available, and you will be getting that information as well. So if you can't stick around until the very end, don't worry about it, because you will be able to see the recording of this presentation afterwards, okay? So like every single other presentation that we have done over the past year, you will have a copy of this, okay? So no worries if you can't hang out for the whole session. So I would love to introduce you to the lovely Lucy Bradley, who is going to talk to us about marketing for small businesses. Lucy?
Good morning. Thank you so much for that great introduction. I haven't done a webinar in about a year and a half, so this is all exciting. So great, thanks for tuning in. It makes me feel good to know so many people are interested. So today I'm going to teach you everything I know about the wonderful world of marketing, but when I run my master classes, I call it Grow Your Business. So that's what I'm going to refer it to, as growing your business. And I'm going to show you so many easy peasy ways that you can implement this into your businesses. Okay, so what I do ask is that you take notes or take screenshots as I go through the presentation. And again, any questions, fire them through to Jen, who will then interrupt me as and when. Okay, so let's get started. So how I run my masterclasses with an audience is that I do it into 4 categories, which is about conversions, leads, frequency, and spend. So how do we get people into our business? How do we market to those people? And I'm going to explain each step as we go, and some storytelling along the way. This is just a little bit of information about me. So I have been the brand commander for 15 years running my business here in Dubai. And the thing I'm really passionate is about helping people grow their businesses, finding new clients, and educating people on different ways that they can market. I'm going to show you so many ways that you can market your business. So take notes. Okay, so just curious to know who has the, here we go, we're doing a poll. So do you have some knowledge on marketing, average, good, very good? Okay, so some knowledge is good. Okay, great. And there's a few with no knowledge, that's fine too. You're going to be experts at the end of this. Okay, so do we end the
you know, I'll leave this for, if we can just leave it for a second, if we can get it up to close to 100%, please, because one of the other things as well is, because this is a funded program by NAMA Women Advancement and UN Women, is that it's really important as well that we're able to show the people who are supporting this program that actually these outreach programs that we're doing are actually making an impact. So please, ladies, help us to help you and complete the poll. My little beg, because then if you can complete the polls at the beginning and the end of this session, we will be able to run many more sessions for you, and we will keep everybody happy by showing them how much impact we're having. So if you could just, another second with this up, please, if you could just answer this, let us know. I also find it really interesting too that we are kind of about 70% with no knowledge and some knowledge. And this is quite typical with what I see with small businesses as well. Lucy, I'm sure you see the same, that it is one of these things that you're so busy working in your business, perfecting your product, your service, that all of a sudden then you're like, oh, I have to market it. What, people aren't just going to buy it?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's the big question that people always say, how do I get new people into the business? How do I find new clients? So we're going to cover all of that. Okay, so
excellent. Poll ended. Let's kick it off.
Okay, cool. How do I get rid of the poll bit? Okay, so at Plug, I always say to my clients and people that attend the masterclasses is you want to create a fan base and you want to have ambassadors in your brand. So when I say ambassadors, I don't mean paid influencers. You want people that rave about your business. So wouldn't it be great if we had people that continuously referred us, in us, they tell people about us, They would use social media to go, oh, I work with this brilliant company, this brilliant lady, this brilliant person. And they are your ambassadors for your brand. And I always say to my clients, you always want to be cultivating this culture in your business, that they follow you, they do as much as they can to support your business, almost like that they were part of your team, but they're your extended team. So we call it fans for your brand. So as I said, it's really good to make notes. So in this part here, I don't want to spend too much time on numbers, but I always say to people, when you want to look at marketing and you want to grow your business, if you want to grow your numbers, you need to know your numbers. So maybe it might be worth jotting a few things down, is in terms of like your team size, where are you now and where do you want to be? So it could be that you're a team of 1 or 2, 3 people, you want to grow it. And it's really important to have some type of goal to work towards. So it's like, it could be that if so many people, you know, getting so many leads into your business, how much do you want to grow that to in, say, 12 months time? If you want to grow your team, what does that team size look like? So it's really mindful to have an idea of numbers, even if they're just sort of, you know, a ballpark, so you can check in each quarter, and then you know how much activity you need to do. So I'm going to show you the levers, how you can grow your business. I've still got on my screen the poll thing. I don't know why I can't get rid of it. Okay, so
Lucy, I think you just need to click it because I've shut it down. So I think you just need to close it from your side and it will go away.
Hang on,
I know it's a slightly different view when
there
you're
you go,
sharing
gone.
your screen. Yeah.
Okay, so the 4 levers I'm going to show you to grow your business: leads, conversion, frequency, and spend. So to explain leads is this is how do we get people into our businesses? What do we need to do in terms of marketing to get them in? Conversion is how do we convert them into being our clients? Frequency is how do we get people back into our businesses? And spend is how do we get people to spend more? And what marketing can we do all around these tactics? Okay, so the audience for any product or service is made up of this framework. So typically when we're in our sort of business development role, as it were, 30% are definitely not interested in our product or service. A further 30% think they're not interested. Another 30% not even thinking about it, which only leaves 7% open to our product or service, and only a 3% that are buying now. So when people say, oh, we should only market at certain times of the year, if you think about this framework, most people aren't in the business, aren't in the market to buy your product or service. It's sitting at the top, and it's a very, very small amount. Okay, so I'm going to share a story on dream listing and why it's really important to be targeted. So there was a company in Australia called Maxim Foods, and it was owned by a guy called Scott, and it sold one product, which was milk powder. And he knew that there's only a certain amount of people interested in his product. So he made a list of these people, all these companies that would be interested in buying his product. It wasn't a sexy product, it was just milk powder. So he put together what he called a dream list. And he cultivated that dream list over a 3 to 5 year period. He would market to them, he'd put them on the mailing list, he'd meet with them, he'd follow up with them, he'd call them, but he got to know them really, really well. So when they were making their buying decisions, changing their milk powder suppliers, they thought of him because he had over the years cultivated these relationships. And in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, I feel out here, we don't do enough to cultivate relationships. We're a bit transactional. We work in our business development roles, we sell to people, and then we quickly move on. We don't often put people on our mailing lists. We don't say follow them on social media. We do very, very little to cultivate a dream list of people. And I also think from a lot of the sessions I run, a lot of people don't know who they're targeting. And I think it's really important to be super, super clear on who your audience is that you're trying to market to. Once you know who your audience is, your marketing is so much easier. So I would say take a moment or two to jot down who would be on your dream list, who is in the market to buy your product or service. And once you have that list, you should do what our man from Maxim Foods did, is you cultivate that list, you follow up with them, you put them on the mailing list, you call them, and really, really market to them. And I feel that very much out here in my experience over the last 15 years, I don't really see much marketing going on. That's where we actually have a database of people and we actively go after them. We follow up with them, we diarize them and go, right, okay, they might be interested in 3 to 6 months down the line. I don't really see that it happens a lot. It's very much, are we buying now? Are we not? And it depends on this, on the sales cycle. It could be big ticketed items, much bigger sales cycles than say somebody who's just buying fast food or something. So a dream list, I think, is super, super clear. And ask yourself these questions with your dream list. Do I have what they need? Can I help them? Can they afford me? And if you can answer yes to those questions, these people should be on your dream list. And also knowing who shouldn't be on your dream list is just as important. So on the next slide here, I've identified in my business who I would want on my dream list. Florists are very nice. So I've even named them in terms of businesses that I would want to work with. And again, the clearer you are on identifying your list makes everything easier. And then I recognize where they would be. So they tend to be in the health and wellness. So the sorts of noises that people make to me would be, we have loads of competition, we need to stand out, we need some creative marketing. Okay, they tend to be in those competitive markets, they need a certain amount of turnover to afford me, but most importantly, they've got to have the progressive mindset. And then what do I do with the dream list? So once I've identified who I want on my list, I then do things with them. I keep in touch with them. I put them on the mailing list. I refer them clients sometimes. I invite them to the masterclasses I run. I go and find them on LinkedIn. I follow them on social. I send them a calendar. And I send them Ultra Post, which is printed items and things. I'm really a big fan of print. I like to do things for impact. So I do all of these tactics because I want to stand out to them. And then I go after them. And it's a bit like what they say on shampoo ads. I rinse and repeat. I do it again and again and again until they fall into my lap. So that is how I put together a dream list. And these people, I go after them. Not too aggressively, I kind of systemize everything. So they get a newsletter every couple of weeks. They are on the mailing list, they get invitations, and I follow them on LinkedIn. So I do all of these little tactics. Okay, so we will go through the levers now. Has anyone got any questions at this point? I know it's all been a bit quiet. No? Okay,
No,
all good.
we're good right now, Lucy, no problem.
Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, so leads. How do we get leads into our businesses so we can market to them? I find that people always ask, how do I find new clients? How do I get new clients into my business? And the truth is, there are so many ways that you can grow a business and market to them. So what are the things that people hear in this forum? What are you guys currently doing to get leads into your businesses? If you want to use the chats, or what sort of avenues are you all doing at the moment to get clients into your business? Anyone want to share?
I will read out some of them for you, Lucy. So
Yeah.
we've got email, paid media, Facebook and Instagram ads, networking, posting on LinkedIn, gala dinners, social media, pop-up markets, recommendations, networking, collaboration, affiliations, events, lots of social media, quite a few people saying networking, very good.
Excellent, I'm really
discounts.
impressed.
Yeah, networking is important, lots of social media. Let me just see Google. So Google ads, word of mouth, influencer marketing. Well, I bet you have a lot to say about that one. Yeah, so lots of word of mouth. I would say top ones, social media, word of mouth, and word of mouth is also networking basically, and some ads as well, and events. So those are few ones plus referral discounts as well. Yeah.
Okay. So here is a ton of ways that you can get clients into your business. So it's everything that we've covered, everything from SEO down to, as somebody mentioned, collaborations. I'm amazed at how many people do not do collaborations and don't do them well. It is such an easy, often it doesn't cost you anything to partner up with somebody and tap into data. And that's what you're looking for at this stage. You are looking for absolutely every lead into the business where you can get people, get in front of them, get them known to you, so you can, at this point is when you start your marketing activity. But we've got to get them first into our businesses. So a lot of you have talked about social media, Google ads, banner ads, but there's lots of other things. It could be investing in PR. It could be dominating your local area. And when I say that, I mean, I met a company, set-up company based in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. They didn't even know who their neighbors were. And they were in super, super plush offices in downtown and somewhere very nice in Abu Dhabi. And they were looking for corporations that had offices. It didn't even occur to them to look on their own floor or to look next door to them. It never occurred to them. Networking, I think this is something that is so crucial to growing your business. And again, I'm always amazed at the number of people who don't want to go to networking events, who find it really hard. And you have to remember, if you're nervous about going, I can guarantee you everyone else is nervous. I personally really saw a difference when I started joining a lot more business groups. So I'm in the Female Fusion, I'm in the British Business Group, I'm in the New Zealand Business Group. And a year ago, I joined the French Business Council because my husband is French and he thought it would be really helpful to learn to speak French, especially in front of his parents. And he said, you know, go and network with people and practice your French. And that was probably the best move I made, because I picked up so many clients being the only British person who stood out in a French business group. And I cannot recommend business groups and networking, it is, as I said, I go to one and they all speak French, and it makes going to the English speaking ones so much easier. But it's great. But the thing I will add on to networking, and it's something I feel strongly about, when we go, I say we as a collective, when we go networking, I'm always amazed that by people who don't network effectively. So it isn't, I call it, it should be a farming approach, not a hunting approach. So when I say a farming approach is you meet everybody in the room. So go and meet everyone. Hi, what do you do? Get to know everybody. Let them know what you do. But the real work starts afterwards, is when you start building connections with people. And then you identify, not if they're a customer, because you're farming. This is a farming approach. Nobody wants to be sold to in their face. It's, you collect the data, you ask them if it's okay, can I put you on my mailing list? Maybe you're interested to hear from us. And then you start marketing to them. And I'm always surprised. I network probably once a week, I go somewhere, but most people never follow up. They have the cards. They do nothing with the cards. They don't look for, this is someone who might have similar audiences to me. And I feel that people very much waste their time at networking events because they think, I just need to sell some marketing to someone. It doesn't work like that. Networking is a much more longer affair. It's not a quick, here's my business card. Are you in the, do you want to buy some jewelry today? No, it doesn't work like that. Nobody wants to be sold to in their faces. And I think it's so easy and so affordable to go to networking events and easily meet 20 to 30 people in a day that have no idea who you are. And I just think I think networking gets a really bad rap out here. People hate it, I feel uncomfortable. Well, try going to one in a foreign language and then you'll be grateful for ones that aren't. But there's lots of other things that you can do. Everything down to, yeah.
Lisa, can I just interrupt you because there's lots of questions that people are asking about networking before you jump onto some of the other points.
Okay.
There's one that says, do you have any tips for beginners for beginner networking and how to talk about your business without sounding like an advertisement?
Yes.
And then I want to jump in and talk about this as well.
Okay. This is a really good tactic that I learned. If you're nervous about going networking, go early. So if it starts at 7, like French Tuesday does, get there at 6:30. I know it sounds really silly, but if you're there early and you're there and you're there with your canapes and your lemonade, people will naturally come to you. And then you're not, if you go to a crowded room, like one of the female fusion events, and then you're like, it's really overwhelming. So you have to go early and then gently ease your way in. I know it sounds really silly, but it's a tactic that I've been doing for years, especially if I don't know many people. And especially if you go to the British Business Group, because they mainly wear blue for some reason. So it's just a sea of blue people. Anyway, the other question is, without sounding like a walking salesperson, go in pairs. So if I was going with Jen, I would be like, so Jen has a really great business. Jen, tell them what you do. It's great. That often works as a tactic. If you don't have somebody that you can bounce off, have a really great elevator pitch. And I remember my friend Mike, who worked in recruitment, and he used to say one thing. He used to say, I change people's lives. Really, Mike? How do you do that? Well, I've worked in recruitment for 23 years, and the best thing I can do for people is find them a bloody good job. End of story. So rather than going, and then I have clients and I do this and I do that, it's just a couple of elevator pitch think of it going in an elevator and you've got to explain to somebody just a couple of lines to describe your business, but again, making it a bit more intriguing is definitely a better way than going, and I do this and I do that, because nobody likes it. Does that help?
And it is, yes, and a few people added comments to that. And just for me to add to that as well, is that people want to know, like, and trust you. And so if you expect that you're going to turn up to a networking event and the first time walk away with lots of business and then say, oh, that was terrible, you know, I didn't get any business from that, that's not how it works. And if you put yourself into other people's shoes, and if you think, well, how would I feel if I met that person and if they tried to do the hard sell? And so what you'll find is the people who are really successful are the ones who don't talk a lot about themselves, who ask questions about other people and are interested in them. And then they'll naturally go and say to you, oh, so tell me about your business. What does your business do? And so that gives you opportunities too. And find the right networking group. As Lucy said, there's lots of different opportunities. The business councils are good ones as well. Some of the networking groups too will give you opportunities to maybe have a table where you can also show your product or your service. And that's a great way as well for people to actually see what you do and them to come up and talk to you. You might not necessarily sell anything, but it gives you the opportunity to practice talking about your business in an environment that isn't going to be high pressured.
Yeah, it's all about getting to know people. It's like dating, you know. You're looking for possible opportunities. It's not to go to a networking event and go, oh, I didn't sell any branding today. That was a waste of my time. It doesn't work that way. Okay, some other ones would be that I would really recommend at this point. Be interviewed. Speak publicly. When I started speaking publicly, it changed everything for me. I love my subject matter, which is this one, by the way. I love to talk about how I can help people, how they can grow their businesses. So the more I did this, the more it raised my profile. The more it started to build credibility. So other people would approach me to speak for them. It could be, don't take this one literally, being a local celebrity, but we do like that in Dubai, don't we? But it could be, again, raising your profile, investing in PR. It could be down to joining sports clubs and joining golf clubs and gyms and things like that. It could be sponsoring local events, something that Jen touched on a moment ago. It could be just down to making sure everybody knows what you do. So feel free to screenshot this. Feel free to ask more questions on this. I'm going to share some examples of leads. Okay, so this was one of my clients I worked with, the photographic studio. We really wanted to build up our number of families. We wanted to really push the families, the photo shoots for children and newborns and the ones to be born. I'm losing my words today, when you're pregnant. So we wanted some data. The data we had was very old. We wanted to grow our data. So we put together a competition, a landing page, and we wanted to get entries. So they were based in Al-Khaz. And the thing is, if you run competitions on social media, yeah, you can get loads of people, tag a friend and win, and all of these, follow the page and win, but you don't get the data. So I'm all about data. I love data. I'm very data driven. And everything I want to do for my clients is with purpose. How do we get data? So we advertised it on social media. We advertised it to the database we had. We then worked with an influencer, Helen Farmer, to then push it out a bit more. But every entry had to be on this landing page. So if you see in blue, you click on it, you download the application form, And it would be a questionnaire. What is your child like? What does your, where does your child go to school? How old? Who would they like to most have tea with? And so forth. And then we got mum's data, mum's phone number, mum's email address, and mum's name, or perhaps dad. Sometimes we got both, but then we had data. So our target was 75, and we got 338 parents, all the details within 6 to 8 weeks. And then we obviously ran the competition, somebody became a winner, and then we had a few runners up as well. So that's how we created database of parents. So we now knew that these people were looking to buy our service because they'd entered the competition. So, oh, and in terms of the results, the most popular answer for a child who they wanted to most have tea with was Prince William. I like that. Okay, so here's another example. This is a client of mine that I've been working with for the last year. V-Shakes, they have little juice bars across Dubai. They're in Times Square, they're on the Palm, and they've just opened another one in Lululemon. So they collaborate a lot with Lululemon, and this was the first collaboration. So Lululemon invited them in to give samples of drinks away. They had just 2 hours. This is the owner in the middle, and she talks a lot, but her role was to get data. So if you are interested in leisure wear and fitness wear from Lululemon, we figured that you would be interested in our products and service. So we wanted to gather the data. And so we didn't want to just give them a drink and say, oh, it's V-Shakes. We wanted the data. Remember, I'm a very data-driven person. So we did some little forms that you can see here, which I wrote and designed. And we said, you know, thank you for, you know, being at this event today. We'd love to hear from you so we can help you. Give us the data. So we got all of these filled in, and we wanted 25 would be great. In a 2-hour session, we got 66 results, all the data, and that then went into our database. And that was just 2 hours. So if you think of a typical networking event, it's pretty much the same. And this is what you should be doing in networking events. But this was, you know, if you wanted one of our smoothies and juices, we'd get the data from you, and then you'd have the drink. So sometimes you have to, I always find sometimes there's resistance with people going, they can't get information, but you just have to find a tactic. If you want to grow your businesses, it's got to be data driven. Okay, so now we have all these leads. Oh, someone's raised their hand. Is there some questions on those examples? No? Okay, I'm going to push on. So
yeah, sorry, Lucy, there's a few. Do you want me just to ask them really quickly? One about Instagram and the effectiveness of Instagram. And did you use Instagram for this?
Yes, so as I explained, yes, I did, but it wasn't the main vehicle. The main vehicle was the existing database we had, plus the landing page. And because they were based in Al Quoz next to a cafe, that on a Friday morning, of course it was Friday back then, not Saturday, it was full of kids who were going next door. So we erected a big easel outside the premises, and we chose a bright visual, which you saw on the previous slide, bright yellow easel. And of course, curious kids would come in. So we actually had, believe it or not, a lot of walk-ins, and parents would go, oh, what's this? Nominate your nipper. So as I said, we didn't want just followers on our Instagram page. We needed to get them off the page. We needed to get them onto our landing page in order to get the data. So we also had a standard message. You know, when you follow people, somebody say, oh, hi, thanks for the follow. We also said, this isn't an entry. We wrote it much nicer. This isn't an entry until it's on the application form. And then that's the only way it would work. So we got plenty and plenty. We got over 1,000 new followers, but without the entry form completed. So we had the data. So we met our objective, which was data. It wasn't an entry. So, but as I said, we pushed it through Helen Farmer as well. So it wasn't just Instagram on its own. It was a combination of everything.
Lucy, there's a few questions, and I just want to say this to people who are listening, that you're asking us about partnerships and referral programs, and I think we'll pick that up at the end. And also,
yeah,
as
we'll
well,
do that in frequency.
Yeah, more detailed questions about networking. So we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah, I love networking.
And if I can just ask people as well, please remember that these sessions are non-commercial, and so please don't be writing about your businesses in the chat box and trying to sell your services to people in the chat box, please, because if the team picks up on that, they'll remove you from the session as well. Okay, back to you, Lucy.
No worries. So conversion. So this is when the marketing really starts, because this is how we convert people from being a prospect into being our client. So what are people currently doing in their businesses to get clients, people basically being a paid client? What things does Jen want to shout a few out? What are we currently doing? How do we get people to be a prospect, to being a paying client?
Still waiting for answers.
So wait, come on, there's got to be something. I'm not revealing a whole ton of ways to convert people without some input.
So it says approach them, have an ambassador program, follow up. Come on, ladies, let's go.
Yeah, I like follow up. So you're warm with follow up, but there is so much more. Okay, we need a few more before I reveal the next
Understand
slide.
their needs, build a relationship.
Relationship, I like.
Nudge, incentivize, reach out with a personalized message, ask them questions, make them feel you're genuinely interested. Retarget, incentivize them, demonstrate your service, meet up and get to know more. Mail marketing. You love that one, Lucy, I know. Get them to a networking event or create one for them, ask their requirements. Okay, we've got a few more. Come on, Lucy, spill the dirt. Tell them what it is.
No. Okay, here we go.
Oh, you know what? I love this one. Someone writes, make sure they can afford me. That is actually quite important. Yeah.
Of course. Okay, it is everything. It is everything here. It is down to training your team, offering better payment terms. It could be down to great testimonials. I know when I'm promoting my sessions, I share a testimonial from a last attendee, and they always work. Make the experience enjoyable. It could be down to quality brochures. It could be down to the way you take payments. It could be down to having taking credit card payments. It could be down to a whole bunch of things, but the ones that I think are so important that I think are not done well here is, one, educating on the value, but building trust and rapport. Now, I would like to ask this question. When I said this in the British Business Group's session that I ran, a live session face-to-face, I got lynched for this. I truly believe, and maybe you can say yes or no, maybe Jen can watch the answers. If you want to do business with someone, so if I want to do business with one of you, I would follow up for sure. And if I think we can work together, all of this, I'd follow up, but I would pick up the phone. And if I couldn't get you on the phone, I would send an email, but you would be on my mailing list, but I would send something physical to you. And I would do all of these tactics. The one thing I wouldn't do is I would not be WhatsApping you, because I feel it's unprofessional. Massage parlors do it, not me. But when I said this in the BBG, a lot of people said, no, it's so much convenient. Yeah, sure, convenient. It is, but not to someone you want to convert to being a client. I don't know, but that's just me. Okay, if you look on the third slide, I've put fancy dress niche here. I've also put send postcards to your potential clients. I do this all the time. If I send something physical, something printed, I guarantee I'll get them as a client. If not today, maybe 3 to 6 months down the line, but they will become my client, or they'll start referring me people, because nobody in my industry does it. But fancy dress niche, it could be down to, I knew I worked with dentists when they had a child patient coming in, the main dentist would dress up as Batman, because they wanted kids to have a positive experience. So they would wear outfits. It could be down to staff appearances. It could be down to your own appearances, depending on what you do. It could be down to simple things of selling the outcome of what you do. It could be down to enthusiasm. All of these tactics are really important if you want to get people into your business. It could be down to having a really intriguing elevator pitch. It could be down to window displays, but these are all the things that add up to get people into your business. But for me, follow up, and follow up again. Anyone got any questions on this?
I think, Lucy, it all comes down to consistency, right?
Yeah.
And consistency is the key. If you own a business, it's consistency with your processes, consistency with your marketing, consistency with your social media posts, with your follow-up. If you have that consistency, it makes it so much easier as well to run your business and to be making money. But it's having those processes in place to be consistent.
Yeah. And having a sales script, having the team all on the same page, and having, but for me, it's got to be easy and enjoyable. People buy people. I know.
And so I was going to say, there's a few things as well that people are talking about, different channels that they like to be sold from as well, or connected to people. And it really depends upon who you are speaking to, because some people love it if you connect with them over DM or WhatsApp. Other people prefer email. Some people prefer a telephone call. And so it's really knowing and understanding those customers so you can tailor that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I just feel when you're trying to get them as a client, I mean, I have clients who come and see me. Sure, they're late in traffic. They'll send me a WhatsApp. I understand that. But for me, I just feel at the point of these people becoming a client, I wouldn't WhatsApp. If I'm on the phone and I call them, I'm in control of the call. So if there's some pushback or resistance to it, but I've got concerns around this, I can manage it all on a call. I can't manage any of this on WhatsApp unless I'm, and then do you really want to be doing this at 10 o'clock at night when people are just WhatsApping randomly? Oh, and I just thought about this. So for me, that's just how I like to do things. I like to follow up, but I do it in a way that I send things. So I have tactics why I do it. As I said, it could be down to having questionnaires for conversion. It could be that people are using a questionnaire so you can see where the gaps are. And it could be, again, upselling, downselling, cross-selling. it could be all of these things. Let me just show what I have in conversion. So this is just some of my own stuff, but I am going to skip past some of this. There we go. This is basically just some of the things that we do for ourselves because I want consistency across my brand. So it's all about, at this point, people would be on our mailing lists and they would hear from us. And as Jen said, it's very systematic. Okay, so frequency, this is by far the favorite one of mine. This is how do we get people back into our businesses? So they've shopped with us once. How do we get people back into our businesses? I will let people use the chat to tell us what they're currently doing to get people back into their businesses. And of course, it all depends what type of business you have. Maybe people would only, if you were in real estate, maybe you'd only buy one property. I get that. But if most of us, I think, have a product or service where people could be repeat clients. So what are we currently doing in our businesses to get people back in shopping with us again? What are we doing? Jen, do you want to let me know what they're doing?
Yeah, okay. Offer an added product, quality products, promotions, easy return policy, loyalty programs, birthday discounts, personalized emails, fresh new content in all platforms. That's it. Seems the inspiration has ended. Regular email loyalty program.
Okay. Depending on how old your business is, for me, my favorite one to talk about is reactivation. So for businesses that are 2 or 3 years old, the most sensible thing would be to go back to all of your past clients and reactivate them. I did this with a dentist many years ago. So they'd been around for 10 years. They'd barely touched their database, but they wanted to let them all know that they were still around and still very, very active. So they reactivated them by sending couriered reminders. They even used the PO box. I mean, a few years ago, that was quite popular. They used the email. They used the reception team to basically say, are you still in town? If not, because you've also got to remember at this point, you also want to be cleaning up your database. But this is where you want to have all of these people should be on your database. You should never have clients that are not on your database. But also it's the right time to be cleaning your database, keeping good data on clients. And again, follow up. It could be letting people know if you have a product of the month or of the week. It could be really, really simple ones like asking people to come back to your business. I mean, if we think about ourselves in terms of like, we all must go to the hair salon, we must all go to beauty salons and that. Have you noticed you'll never get rebooked? No one will ever rebook you. I don't understand it. We all should be rebooked into businesses. We're not. Even dentists don't rebook people. I work with a spa and they always ask the question of rebooking them. So this is where you should in your marketing have really amazing customer follow-up. So it could be that at the end of each service or purchase, it should be that you have some sort of amazing follow-up. Did you enjoy our service? Did you enjoy this? Come back to us, leave a Google review, leave something that we can go on. So it could be that they put something on their social media and they tag you in. But again, market to them so they can tag you into something. We would, it could be that the best tagging of the week, where you're tagged into something, gets a free gift or gets a treatment, gets a service or something. It could be down to following up with people 48 hours after they've bought from you to follow up with them. But this is the time when we should be really getting to know our customer base. This is when we should be asking more questions, keeping more data on people, inviting them to events. There's so many things we could be doing to easily keep in touch. And not one of these involves a WhatsApp message. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I'm not a big fan of WhatsApp for business. It's just me. But I just feel there's so many ways to stand out. As a marketeer, I am looking for ways all the time to stand out. And sending random WhatsApps just isn't my way of standing out. I like to send telegrams to all of my clients. I send things all the time. As one of my clients says, I am the master of communication. I quite like that. Okay, I'm going to show some examples. Okay, so these are a couple of people I've worked with. As we haven't talked about, and nor should we, because we should always be 80% looking forward, 20% looking back. But during COVID times, and when lots of people dropped off off the radar, one of my swimming clients really wanted to get their customer base back in the pool again, but they also wanted them to refer their friends. So we sent out these actual cards, and we gave them out to the parents at the pool. We sent it as an e-blast, and we sent it as a direct message as well to people that we wanted to say thank you for supporting us, keeping us afloat, nice pun. But in return, we wanted to grow the number of swimmers, and we wanted people to refer us. And something, while I remember, we talked about, somebody asked about collaboration. So I have many, many clients, and I'm always thinking of ways to collaborate. And I have one that runs schools on sewing for adults and for kids. And my swim school that I work with, they also have classes for adults and for kids. We did a cross promote, so nobody accessed each other's data. I managed both sides of the data. So we promoted the swim to the sewn audience, and we introduced vice versa. And we got brilliant results. And the cost to both of those clients, nothing. It was so easy. It was so complementary. It wouldn't be a conflict of interest. It wasn't like one medical center talking to another medical center. It was purely complementary. And so I say to you all, look for people in your contact sphere who you can cross promote to, who would have that audience where you could collaborate. They're out there. There would be brands that you could collaborate with because they'll have a similar audience. So the other one on the right is with a medical center that I've worked with. And we did quite an aggressive database campaign where we would be messaging them every week to get people back in. So whether it's for their teeth cleaning, or it's their dermatology, or their laser, we would tailor that messaging to get people back into our businesses. Remember, it is so much easier to work with the clients you already have than to go spending money looking for the ones you don't have. So it's retain the ones you have, then market to those, rather than spending loads of money trying to find clients. Collaborations, if done properly, don't cost anything. Okay, so these are just some of the examples. Another question I'd like to ask is, how often do you ever thank your paying clients? Do people think it's important to thank clients? Anyone got any views on that? Okay, so I'll let you ponder on thanking. This was one that I ordered from a hell of a lot. The guy that owns this business is very, very tech savvy. So he's all very data driven. So I used to order from these guys quite a lot during the lockdown period. And their messaging really, really resonated with me as a business owner myself. Social distancing doesn't mean we forget about the community. So I thought, oh, that's nice. We're in this together. Do you remember that slogan? In this together. Great. Order a pizza. So then they introduced me to the app where you could order and it come out with little alerts. And then they started sending little thank you notes as well through the email, and you'd get it in the box as well. They used to write a little message on the box. Your orders are helping us right now to keep our amazing staff, to pay our suppliers, and to keep the economy moving. As small business owners, all of us, who wouldn't find comfort in that during the COVID times? So I kept on buying from them 37 times, hence my gut. So do we think it's important to thank people? Do you thank clients and then ask them to come back? Do you thank clients and say, hey, listen, thank you so much for being great. I would really like to clone you, or could you find someone like you that I can work with? These things work wonders. If you want people to refer you, you have to tell them, you have to train people.
So Lucy, universally, everybody is saying yes to this as well. And people are giving examples that they're sending thank you emails with every order, that they always thank their clients when they finish projects as well. So universally, you've got lots of people who are saying yes, that they're thanking people as well.
Do you think it's only the small brands and businesses that say thank you?
I think it depends upon the business, because some are very good at thanking their customers and others don't, and they never hear from you again. For example, I was thinking about this the other day, that in February, I ordered a meal plan. I had a meal plan that was delivered every single day. And so you finish your 1 month of the meal plan, you return the bag that they give you. And not once did I get an email from them saying, oh, hey, your 1 month is up. What did you think? How did you find it? Nothing at all about that. And I was very surprised that I didn't get that.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. But I think
you would think,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's so crucial in terms of thanking people. I really, really think it's not only is it just good business practice, but I think it's critical for growth.
Yeah. And they say as well that it costs you 7 times more to get a new client than to try and reactivate the existing client, because they already know you as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now this brand knows how to say thank you. So these are all, and there's more of them. This is just a snapshot. But these guys, I'm sure you've all heard of this brand. Every time I go there, I get a handwritten card placed in the box. But they used to post it to me. So if you see the top one, there's my address. So if anyone wants to send me a letter, please do, because I love post. But this brand always without fail thanks me, and they write a card. And and of course I go back because I think, oh, I wonder if they'll give me another one. But I did visit the airport one, and they didn't. They sent me a WhatsApp, and I got very grumpy. Not to their face, but I was like, don't like that. But it was nice. I let her off. It was 6:30 in the morning, so maybe her hand was a bit tired. So I'm not going to write to this one. But they do, as a brand, it's not a brag, this, but I just wanted to show that even the big brands do the personal touch. But this brand keeps incredible data on you. If you go into the shop and you say, oh yeah, because last time I was here, I picked up those earrings, they'll find it on their system. They keep everything. It's recorded. And they go, oh yeah, because you got the shoes last time. How are they working out for you? Yeah, great. Yeah, we've actually got some more shoes in. It's incredible. But also they put you on the mailing list, and everything is written in French and English. That's quite nice. And it's called, you know, Chanel, you and me, because now you, when you buy things, you're in their world, and the wording is, you know, welcome to our world. So if they can do it, we can all do it and make people feel warm and fuzzy in our world. When people work with us, we send them a dear new client, welcome to our world, reiterating our things that are important to us at every step of the way. You have to remember, in everything I'm talking about, everything you do with your marketing has to be a tactic to stand out from your competitors. Okay, so spend is, how do we get people to spend more? What can we do in our tactics to get people to spend more? Does anyone have any thoughts on spend, or would you just like me to just show you?
Let's get people to write it in the chat box. I'm just going to answer a couple of questions as well. A few people have asked if they can share screenshots on social media and give credit to you. Absolutely, you can. Make sure that you also tag NAMA Women Advancement and UN Women as well. And Lucy,
yeah,
absolutely, we love that.
Tag me as well. That would be great. Yeah, especially the ones where my pictures are there, where I look good.
Yeah, make sure she looks really good, and then
Make sure
that's
I look
all right.
really good, and then you can do everything with my blessing. And if you want to write me a letter, that's even better. Okay, spend. How do we get people to spend more in our businesses?
Someone says multi-level marketing. One of the most diamond galleries has a program, provide repeat customers a discount for their loyalty, sales and promotions, cross-sell. Keep it coming, ladies. Loyalty.
Yeah, loyalty is a good one.
Package deals.
Package deals is a good one. There is a really obvious
Upsells.
one.
Upselling and cross-selling. Upselling.
Upselling. There is a really obvious one. How do we get people
keeping in touch with customers?
No.
Good customer service. Little gifts with their purchase.
Yeah.
Say thank you.
How do we get people to spend more in our businesses? If you're a service business.
Discount on next purchase.
No, because that's not spending more.
Sending thank you cards. Making it easy to pay. Asking them what they want more of.
No one gives me the answer.
No one gives you the answer.
Right,
quality service or product.
Increase your prices.
Yep.
Even if it's 10%, no one would notice.
Well, I guess it depends on the business, right? Yes. I think maybe some, but you're 100% right. Increase your price. Yeah.
It could, even if it's certain times of the year, you could just put 5% increase. It depends, obviously, what type of business you are. No one would notice. No one would remember. Nobody would nitpick over 5%. But this is when you would start to use questionnaires. You could use, like, is it Survey Monkey and things like that, because you're looking for the gaps. You're not really going, oh, getting to know you better and all of this. You're looking for the gaps where you can sell to them. This is when impulse buys is a good thing. It could be, we've talked about package deals. It could be the 4 for the price of the 3. And again, it's back to educating on value. It could be having a shopping list. So the most expensive first, followed by the second. And it's about giving away, at this point, perceived value. So if you do spend X, Y, Z, then I could actually give you that as well. So it's perceived value. But this is when it's really crucial to train your team and use sales scripts and educate your customers, but also start measuring the average sale. And it could be that there's incentives for bigger purchases. but just to share some ideas. So this is one that I've worked with for over 13 years. So they have a few different locations. So when we first started with them, there was one, now there's 3 or 4. But when you go to the desk, you go in for your treatment, they will ask you at the desk, so do you want to upsell? Do you want an eye treatment? It's only 70, 80 dirhams. Do you want a shoulder massage afterwards? And most people at the desk would say no. You then go and sit down and you fill in the forms with your details. They would ask you again at that point, and it still might be a no. And that's okay. I know because I've done this. So when you go in for the treatment, I can trust you and guarantee you, when you are in a state of relaxation, you're not going to say no. So they will ask you again. So nearing the end of your treatment, when you're horizontal, all nice and warm, got that lovely big blanket on, you're not going to say no. They will then say, would you like that treatment? Would you like that extra thing? So they do the upsell, but they ask 3 or 4 times. They don't just leave it at the beginning at the desk. They do it during the treatment and almost at the end. And I guarantee if you're enjoying yourself, you won't. So if you think each place has 5 or 6 different therapists all asking the same question because they've all been trained to, that's a lot of upselling. And easy peasy, because the customer is already there. They're already in the relaxation room. They're already in the treatment room. This is an easy add-on to the business. So this is another one that I've worked with. This is a travel agent based in, I think someone needs to mute themselves. This is another one based in Uganda, run by an Irish guy. So he's a travel agent. So he will, when you are buying from him flights and hotels, he will upsell the other one. So if you're just getting a flight, he'll book your hotels, or at least he'll ask the question. He'll also do the insurance. He'll also do the car parking and everything else. So there's easy ways that he can upsell. If he can just upsell insurance on every flight, that's an easy sell. He's a great travel agent if anyone wants to reach out to him. But yeah, so he also shares a lot of information and reminders. Don't forget, book this. Have you thought of this? All across his social media, book your travel insurance, book your flights, book your hotels with us. And of course, when, not so much now, but when there was so much commotion going on, you needed a travel agent. He's never been so busy, because people now need to know they suddenly need to change things. They'd rather a travel agent was doing it for them. Okay, so here is a marketing plan. This is a template, how I kind of work with people to kind of map out how we put our marketing plans together. So I think I've shared so many ways how you can market it. And then my best advice would be is to go month by month. You know, no one can make a marketing plan 6 months in advance. Just do a month in advance. You know, sort of plan what we're going to do for next month, and then break it down each week, each day. What activities are we going to do in order to grow our businesses? These are a couple of case studies that I just wanted to share. These people we started working with back in 2020, no one was going to the parks. Everyone was very nervous about safety. And we looked at the database, and they had an incredible database. They had 50,000 records. So the first thing we wanted to do was create some nice engaging campaigns, reinforcing the safety measures and really cleaning up the data. So we then, in terms of frequency, we would email the database twice a week, and we would post on social once a day. And we also invested in PR. We invested in the photo shoots. because we wanted to get some fresh images. But again, everything we sent, it was always reinforcing the things that people were concerned about. There's a limit on how many people can come into the parks. There's, you know, these are the protective measures in place, and these are the things that we're doing. And again, once parties were back on board, we were able to start promoting the parties and so forth. So we really, really increased our frequency to get the database coming back. And guess what? They came back. We also thanked people for every time a new person came and they went onto the mailing list. We would also thank them and say, thanks, we hope you had a great time. If, you know, if you're happy, tell someone else, tell people, tag us into your pictures. We wanted to get them to be our little ambassadors for our brand. This was another one that I worked with for many years. They started with us. They were the first of its kind, a delivery service of fruit and vegetables, mainly imported from Europe, and some local produce. They were all French, and they came to me. They were just getting started. They had 38 customers on their books at the time. We wanted to, they wanted to grow their business, because their plan was to grow it after a couple of years and sell it. So we did a very aggressive social media campaign where we marketed to the audience that they had, and they didn't have many because it was only a customer bank of 38. So we partnered, we collaborated with so many people. We sent out mailers, everything down to the cancellation policy, down to saving. And then we did a really, really aggressive campaign on referral. So if I referred you, so I'm the customer, I refer you, you'd get 50%, I would get 25% off. And we ran that. And after 9 months of doing PR, doing video, doing collaborations, doing there was no stone unturned with these guys. And then after about 9 months, we had about 6,500 customers in the business. So there was every day, there was an activity, there was something going on, whether it was partnering with somebody sharing something, mailers going out twice a week, maybe sometimes 3 times a week, customize your box. And it was non-stop. I have to say, in all my years, I don't think I've ever worked with guys that worked as hard as these guys. They gave up their Fridays, which was the old week then. They gave up their weekends to work. And when they had complaints from customers, because things would go wrong, you know, produce might have gone off, they're the ones that jumped in their cars to go and fix it. I'm not sure I meet many people who do that on a Friday night. Okay, and I think that could be almost the end of my presentation. So we can open it up to questions. I think we're 10 minutes ahead.
Yeah, we're going to do lots of questions because we have lots. But before we do that, I have a poll and I need everybody to fill it in, please. So just to let us know about your knowledge before and after the workshop. So if you could just let us know after. And we'll have this running while we do lots of questions.
Oh, this is really
please
good.
also as well, Maya has shared with you all of the links for Twitter and also for Lucy, so you can just go and take lots of pictures and stick it up on social media as well. Now, we have a ton of questions going back whilst we're doing this. So one thing, Lucy, let's have a chat about upsells, downsells, cross sells, all of that. We'd like a bit of an explanation about what that is and how that can help with marketing.
Okay, so shall I just share an example of upsell,
yes.
downsell, cross? Okay, so you and me. So you come to me wanting a massive, all singing, all dancing website, and my reaction would be, well, actually, no, I think you just need a couple of landing pages, and probably you could do a bit more tactical stuff. So that could be an example of a downsell. So you've come to me for something much, much bigger, but I don't actually think it's going to work. I think you could do something a bit smaller. Upselling could be where we would, you might only come for one small piece of work, but you need something a bit bigger, and you didn't realize that we do X, Y, Z. Cross-selling is when you can cross-promote, cross-selling to another audience. So we partner with a PR agency. So we don't do PR, they do PR. So it could be that you're cross-selling, cross-promoting to another audience. Does that help?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. We have one comment by a participant who says, talking about increasing prices, and she said that she increased her prices last week because their suppliers increased prices. They increased their prices by less than 5%. Nobody said anything except one client who wanted their 10 dirhams back. There's always one.
There'll always be one. Yeah, there'll always be one. But yeah, it just shows you, if people are happy in your business, and they're happy, that why would they go somewhere else because you've increased by 5%? It's nothing.
And the thing is, as well, is that to run a business costs money, and you can't keep your prices the same forever. You do need to increase your prices as well. But it's also how you communicate it sometimes to your customers as well. I know that in one of my businesses, we increased the prices, and we communicated with people that the prices were increasing, and the feedback was really positive with everybody as well. They were like, yeah, no, we understand that you have to increase your price.
Yeah, everything goes up, the COGS go up every year, the cost of goods every year, the cost of living increases. So it's daft to think that, businesses would stay the same. Everything goes up.
Yeah. Okay, a question about referral programs.
Okay.
She wants to know effective tactics for referral programs.
Referral program. Can they be a little bit more? What do they mean?
Referral program question. Ask just if you could be a bit more, give us a bit more information.
So would it be a bit like the farm box one?
Yes, Hethel wants to ask the question live. Yes, you can unmute yourself and ask, because I think a few people had questions on referral programs.
Hi, Jennifer, and hi, Lucy. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And Lucy, thank you for really, I found it a very practical way of looking at things. Sometimes it's very overwhelming. We have so many different things we don't know what to look at, but this is very practical. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So I'm actually the CEO of a wellness company. I offer yoga and wellness programs, and I would say 90% of my clients come in for referral programs because they have a chronic illness or a mental imbalance, and they get resolved within a certain time frame, and they refer us to people. Now, I'd like to be able to make that more systematic. Right now, I don't even offer anything. Like if anybody offers me a new referral, I don't have a program that says, thank you, here is 20% for your next program. So I just wanted to know from this perspective, and my business is very relationship based, like you said earlier. It's not transactional at all, because we're talking about very personal things, like your health is very personal. So I just wanted to know, in that side of the industry, if there are any tactics that you have used. I've seen the one where you reward the person referring and also the person who has been referred with a discount, but just wanted to know if there is anything else that could be employed in this industry. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I'm not a big fan of discounts, and I always think if the person is referring you is happy with your service and is, likes your business and enjoys, being in your business, you probably don't need to incentivize them. And if they're referring people, perhaps all they would want, all you'd need to do is acknowledge them. It could be, you know, it could be, as I said, a simple thank you. It could be that you, again, it's the perceived value. So, you know, if you refer somebody, you could say to all of them, you know, in your marketing, if, you know, referrers, word of mouth is so powerful and so valued to us, then they can just book themselves into one of your sessions. So most people might not take you up on it, but I definitely would say when we're trying to grow our businesses and increase our businesses, unless they're asking, saying, look, if no one's ever going to say to you, I'm going to refer my friend, so I want 25% off my next one, you just wouldn't accept it. So you don't need to give them the discount. You could just say to them, listen, you've been really good to us. Next time you want to come to one of our classes, just come along for free as my gift to you. My gift from me to you to say thank you is to come along. The cost to you is nothing. Does that help?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, because discount can be expensive if
it's so cheap. It's so cheap. Everyone does it and they think that's what we want. We don't. I've shown you in my presentation one of my favorite shops. I've never seen them discount, and it's never going to stop me from going. And you think about the brands that you interact with and you enjoy being in, I guarantee if they never discounted, you'd still be their customer. But what they want is what I enjoy, is to be recognized and to be thanked. A thank you goes a hell of a long way.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No
so Lucy, we have more questions for anybody. Please, can I ask, we only have 71% of participants who have filled in the poll. So can you please just help us out, because it will keep everybody who is supporting these workshops happy, that they see if it's made a difference, and it will allow us to put more of them on. So please, can you fill in the poll, which is in front of your screen? So there is a few people say they haven't received the second poll. It's up on the screen. Maybe it's not showing if you're on your phone or an iPad or something. A couple of other things I wanted to say quickly is that UN Women has a directory that they share with businesses, which is a women-owned business directory. And if you would like to be part of that, Maya has just put the link in the chat box where you can fill that in, and you can be listed on the UN Women women-owned business directory. The other thing as well is next Tuesday, every Tuesday this month, UN Women and NEMA Women Advancement will be running a masterclass. So next Tuesday is going to be one on legal essentials with Bianca Gracias, who is the co-founder of Crimson Legal. And then I'll be running a session for you on the 26th, and we're going to talk about selling and how to sell more and how to make more in your business as well. And there'll be a lot of some of the topics that we talked about a bit with Lucy today. We'll go into more detail as well when we talk about selling and sales as well. So Lucy, another question. I'm just looking at all the questions. Someone said a major way of sales and marketing in this region is cold calling. Do you think this is a good and effective way?
Yes. Yes, I do. I find, I'll tell you why, because I find whether you like them or loathe them, financial advisors absolutely nail it because they're targeted. So they know exactly who they're looking for. And you might find it annoying if you receive them, but they get straight to the chase. They ask a few questions, and usually they're not wrong. Normally you'd be a homeowner, you'd have investments. But I think if you've got a good, approach, I think it could work really well. The problem is out here, nobody wants to do it. Everyone wants to hide behind messaging and stuff. When I get a referral, or I get a lead from somebody, or I get a lead into the business, I will undoubtedly, I will call them for sure. You know, hi, I've got a message from you, you've been referred to me. but out and outright cold calling, I've never done, because it needs to be targeted somehow. So I don't know if anyone's noticed, but Do and Etisalat make a hell of a lot of cold calls, and they're really annoying. That's definitely not the approach. But it could be, if you have access to somebody else's data, you know how we talked about collaboration, they're almost kind of, I guess, ways that you could cold call them in a way. It depends where that numbers come from. That's what I'm trying to get at, and to see how cold it really is. If it is literally out of a phone book, then you're probably wasting your time. But if it's come from an event, it's come from a collaboration, it's come from social media, and then you're like, oh, I noticed you follow me quite a lot, and we follow each other on Instagram, and I just wanted to reach out because I could probably help you with X, Y, Z. That's probably going to get more success. But if you are just literally calling random people, then you're going to have no success. I don't know if that helps.
Another question. This, I think, is relevant for a lot of people. Do you have advice for small business owners who have to wear different hats throughout the day and don't have a marketing team? How much time daily should be spent working on marketing, and what are the most important marketing activities that, in your experience, have the most impact?
I'm a big believer in, I took it out of this presentation, but I also touch on margins. I'm a big believer, when you're wearing all your hats, is outsource as much as you can to experts. So one easy one you can outsource is your accounts. Outsource. I use an accountant firm, a small business one. I get rid of that, so I don't wear those hats. Admin, you could get somebody to do your admin. Marketing, I think we all know who can do marketing. But I understand that's sometimes not an option. But my advice would be is the stuff that's going, I call it in my sessions, black, blue, and red. So I work predominantly in black. That is my business development. That's my marketing. It's all I do. This is black. What I'm doing today with you all is working in black. Blue is delivery, which is what my team do. So they are delivering on our service of what we do. The red is the terrible stuff that nobody wants to do. It makes you no money at all, because black and blue make you money. Red makes you no money. That's your admin. That is chasing up payments. Again, it's gone to the accountant. You need to get rid of as much red and admin crap as you can. Get rid of it, outsource it, or hire somebody very sweet, you know, for a couple of hours a day, because you want to be growing your business and marketing. You want to be working in black. 90% of my time is working in black. I don't really get involved much more in delivery anymore. That's how I grow my business. I don't know if that helps at all. Any other questions?
Someone says, I work with design and build of high-end villas. So the client is very specific. Do you have any advice on networking with this demographic? I'm sure you do.
I work with business councils. I mean, for example, BBG is very construction industry. They're kind of heavy industries, a lot of them. I find the French business councils are luxury goods, interiors, and that's just generally the sort of flavor I get. The New Zealand one, they tend to be in a bit of manufacturing, and aviation is quite strong in that business council. And it's finding those kind of contact spheres that you're looking for. Female fusion is it's female led because it's called Female Fusion, but it's a whole different range of business. It really is. You have no idea. That's the great thing about networking. You have no idea who's going to be there. But I would probably sort of gravitate towards maybe the business councils and and go from there. And I don't know if that helps. That's just my own experience.
Lucy, another one is there any tone or voice that we should maintain in our email marketing campaigns to get a good response from our target audience and clients?
Yes. Be as fun and as fabulous as you can. Remember, nobody buys boring marketing. The more out there you want to be, the more, you know, if people want to follow me and get onto my mailing list, contact me, and I'll show you lots of examples of it. But if you want people to buy into you, you have to be memorable. Remember, if you look at the screen, the picture of me with the hat on with the flower is, again, these are all tactics to be remembered. So when I give my card to people, they go, oh, you're the person that wears the hat, the brand commander, the association of your interest in history. They're all tactics, and you've got to hook out those bits in your branding and your storytelling of what you want to put out to the audience. Is really, really, really important. Rather than, hi, do you want to buy something from me? Well, no. But if you have a great brand and a great tone of voice, people will remember you and they'll want to buy. You've got to remember, people love fun people.
Yeah. This one is interesting. I wonder if your view is going to be the same as mine. So says, we've been asked to do workshops that will take a lot of time to prepare. Can we network and still be asked to be paid for our efforts?
Sorry, can you do that again?
So basically, she's been asked to deliver a workshop to a group, and it's going to take her a lot of time to prepare. So she wants to know if she could ask to be paid for what she's doing, although she's also going to be networking and potentially getting clients or referrals as part of that. I wonder if your view is the same as mine. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
You go.
Okay. We need to look at the different opportunities where we're being asked to speak or deliver a presentation or a workshop. And sometimes you have to look at this as an investment in new business. And we are investing our time to show ourselves, expose ourselves to new potential audiences where hopefully you will get business. Now, the people who get business are the ones who turn up and deliver the most amazing workshop without giving the hard sell, without promoting themselves really hard, and are actually imparting knowledge or sharing information with people. Because what happens if you hear somebody do a good workshop is people go, oh, she was really good. You know, I want to talk to her. I want to see if I can get more information. I want to see if I could hire her to do something. Lucy, do you have anything to add to that?
I agree 100%. Completely. It's, I mean, I put on free sessions every month, and I invite anybody can come to the sessions, and it is an investment. But it's been incredible for my business. The more people you can get in front of, the more you can grow your business. It's as simple as that.
And I think, okay, let's, because it comes to marketing as well, is I'm really privileged that I get to see all sorts of different types of businesses and women who have businesses at different phases. And the ones who are the most successful, who grow their businesses, and I see systematically they're growing their businesses and they're scaling, are the ones who give without asking anything in return. So not the one who says, how much are you going to pay me, or I want to sell, but the one who selflessly will say, hey, yeah, let me spend 10 minutes and explain this to you without going and trying to charge people for it. Because then what happens is that that person will recommend you to somebody else and to somebody else and somebody else. And eventually, maybe 1, 2, 3, 5 of those people might be your ideal paying client and
Yes.
might be people who spend money with you. The people who grow are the people who give without
Yes.
asking for anything in return.
Yes, 100%. My masterclass sessions take 2 to 3 hours, and I do them every month religiously. I have done for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's never been wasted. I've been in front of so many audiences now. It's been incredible for me to grow my business, and I love to help people, even if they don't become a client. I still love to help people.
Building your personal brand, isn't it? You know, and I think as all of you follow the different masterclasses that we're putting on for UN Women, that you see that a lot of these are interconnected, right? And they're all different building blocks that you can use to build and grow and scale your business. Lucy, I have a final question for you, because a few people have asked if you can repeat the 3 points about putting together a dream list. I don't know if you want to go back to that on the slides, or if you just want to say it out loud, because a few people have messaged and I've received some DMs about that as well, about the dream list. So go through and share that. Let's find that. But if I can emphasize to everyone, be a giver and not a taker. Give, 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 and ask nothing in return, because then the business is going to start flowing.
Okay, so remember how I talked about Maxim Foods with his milk powder, who made a net profit of $15 million last year. So it was all about knowing exactly who should be on his list. So again, it's not a case of I meet someone here today who might be interested in my service and I follow up with a WhatsApp. It is all about cultivating that relationship, following up. So the thing is, I ask myself with prospects is, do I have what they need? Can I help them? Can they afford me? And if you can answer yes to all of them, then you should go after them and market to them. And again, we all know, and we don't say it, but we all know who we don't want to work with. For sure we do. But it's those critical questions. There's no point marketing, investing time with people who are never going to be able to afford you. And if you can help them and you have what they need, then they should be on the dream list. So just going back to mine, in how I've cultivated a list of those. So, you know, I've identified who they are. These are the sorts of brands. And Freedom Pizza, who I've referenced in this presentation, by the way, is not a client of mine. And it was funny because his friends were in one of my sessions and took pictures and told him that someone knew about his business more than he did. Okay, so I've identified by the name of who they are. And then I identify ways that I would get in touch. So how would I make myself visible to these people? What do I need to do to get visible? Which is the question you all ask yourselves. Oh, I'd love to work with them, but how do I get in front of them? I'm not going to cold call them because I don't want to do it. And that's just not what we do. How do I do it? And if you do, good, you know, well done to you for doing that. So I've recognized where they are. The health and wellness industry, they have a certain amount of turnover. They're in competitive markets. This is how I identify the sort of noises that they would make. You know, oh, we have loads of competition. We don't really have a great identity. We need to develop our brand voice, but we need to stand out from everyone else. And that's when they would come and have a conversation with me, because I truly believe, going back, I have what they need, I can help them, and they can probably easily afford me. Does that help?
That is perfect. And do you know what? I think we're about 15 minutes over, and I think that that is a perfect thing to end on. So Lucy, thank you so much for being so giving and sharing all of this information with everybody today. The feedback we've had in the chat box is that everybody loved it and they've taken a lot of information away from it. Thank you so much to UN Women and NAMA Women Advancement for supporting women business owners in the UAE. And thank you to all of you for being amazing and sharing your ideas and thoughts and making it a really engaging session. So wishing you a beautiful rest of the day. Ramadan Kareem to all of you. Next Tuesday and the following Tuesday, we will be doing it all again. So we hope to see you then. And have a beautiful day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
See you. Bye.